Hold on.
Take your time.
Okay.
That was fast.
Ready?
Can't sleep.
You had a real scare.
I had a scary dream.
You want to tell mommy and daddy about it?
No.
Having a tough time sleeping?
Your father's an insomniac.
Hey, let's not put this one on me.
Having nightmares.
We all have nightmares now and then, honey.
I know.
Remember when you were a little kid, we went to the pool?
Uh-huh.
Remember every day you tiptoed a little further on the diving board?
Uh-huh.
Took one step, then two steps.
When you got to the end,
When I got to the end, I dived.
You just jumped in. Fear's a natural thing.
I know.
We face our fears. It makes us stronger. You know, someone said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
So I should just not be afraid?
just get some sleep. Mommy and daddy are here.
Back to bed and get some rest.
I'm ashamed, but I'm a little afraid of the dark.
Honey, you're in your home. We're the only ones here.
I'm not afraid for myself.
What are you afraid of?
The nightmare.
What nightmare?
Were you being chased by some monster?
No.
You know it isn't real.
Just a dream.
It felt real.
Dreams always feel real, but they're not.
You want to tell us about your nightmare, honey?
Someone shot the president.
Oh my.
Nobody shot anybody.
I saw it.
In your dream.
Close your eyes, honey, and just remember it wasn't real.
Repeat after me. Nightmares aren't real. Nightmares aren't real.
Just count sheep.
What if I get confused and miss one?
We wouldn't want that.
That would be a shame. Then you'd leave a sheep out there in the field all by itself.
And you'd have to start again.
Counting sheep could get so boring, it would put you right to sleep.
Why would anyone count sheep?
Your mother just said it.
What if I'm allergic to sheep?
You want to count monkeys or parrots or crickets or frogs?
Butterflies.
Count butterflies.
You see butterflies?
Everywhere.
Just close your eyes and you'll feel better.
We'll see.
Well,
She's stubborn. She's got it in her head that she doesn't want to go to bed.
she's probably drawing.
Probably.
Sheep?
You should try it sometime.
I don't think I can fall asleep.
Now is not the time.
It'll make it easier to fall asleep.
Good night, darling.
I hear kissing makes the monsters go away.
Ah, pillows do much better, actually.
Up one?
It's a fucking game of hide and seek.
At least you're not the one hiding.
I waited outside for the son of a bitch for at least an hour. Nobody showed.
But at least you got the right address.
But then I got lucky.
You finally show?
The neighbor comes home driving a blue Ford. We talk, you know. Turns out he hates this guy. I say, hey, any way you could give me a call when the guy shows up? He takes my number. Sure enough, 3 hours later, I get a call from the neighbor.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
I went over and served the guy.
That was smart.
I don't know if it was smart. I've been at it for a while.
I'm glad it worked out.
For me,
Why are you serving them?
eviction.
Mmm.
Guy hasn't paid rent in a year.
Oh, man. You feel bad? I mean, kicking people out of their home?
Look, they're not paying rent. The landlord has to pay taxes. A lot of times they destroy the place.
I'm just asking.
We all got to do things we don't want to do.
Yeah, you're just the messenger.
That's what I tell them. I mean, I don't want to have to keep sitting there out there for hours.
I wouldn't want your job.
Neither do I. Nah, I'm good with it.
Two and die is a good business.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know if I could do yours either. But I mean, being attached to a machine all day.
Nobody's attached.
I know.
Other than that?
My daughter had a nightmare.
Yeah, who doesn't?
It's weird.
Well, we just had Halloween. She's probably got monsters on the brain.
Maybe.
Did she watch a horror film? Well, I watched a horror film when I was a kid, and I had nightmares for weeks.
She dreamed she saw the president get shot.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, the president's on the TV all the time.
He and Jackie.
Yeah, look at it this way. I bet you a lot of ladies are dreaming about Kennedy.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, Jackie's not half bad either.
They're good people. I mean, we have a president who has a family. There are kids running around the White House.
Yeah, I hope they don't break the china. You know that crystal, all of it belongs to you and me.
It's just weird.
She probably saw pictures of him in the paper. I mean, he's coming to town in a few weeks.
First time in 48 years a president's visiting Dallas.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable, isn't it? A big city like this? Listen, if you ever want to work Tool and Die, I could probably train you.
I already got a job.
Yeah, just don't evict me, all right?
Hey, pay your rent.
Mortgage.
Just pay it.
Bread,
Check.
eggs,
Check.
milk.
I knew I forgot something.
Honey, why don't you listen?
Oh, here you go. That takes care of that.
My hero.
I wouldn't go that far.
Thank you for taking care of it and not making me wait.
Do I ever make you wait?
Yes, you do.
Glad to be of help.
I'm glad too.
I deserve a reward.
I'm sure you'll get one.
How about sex?
I'm sorry, but sex is not a reward.
That's true. It's something we share.
Hun,
Uh-oh.
what do you mean, uh-oh?
When you say hun, you want something.
So,
One thing at a time.
I thought you wanted to make me happy.
I do. And I know just how to do that.
That'd make you happy.
You too.
You know the nightmare?
Amy had another nightmare?
It sounds like the same one.
You think it's all the pressure at school?
She drew a picture of the nightmare.
She's always drawing.
I found this in her room.
Crazy drawing.
Crayons.
You drew a nice sun.
President's in a car.
You can tell it's him.
Can you talk with her?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
I'm exhausted. Okay.
You're a good father.
You'd make a good lawyer.
I'm on your team.
What do you want me to say?
Daddy's right here. It's all right.
Daddy's here.
Honey, Daddy's home.
I'm doing homework.
They're really working you to the bone.
Can you talk with Daddy before dinner?
Can we talk later?
Your father's a very busy man.
I have all sorts of appointments later.
Do you really?
Come here, princess.
Not a princess.
Your father you are.
Millie, Mom, showed me a picture you drew.
Great.
You can draw.
I like drawing.
I remember the time you had to draw the dollar bill and you drew Washington so real. Well, it could have been counterfeit.
I had a broken arm then.
You did it anyway.
The president.
Always say the world's a dangerous place.
Does that scare you?
You say it's dangerous.
Daddy deals with people who aren't living up to their responsibility.
Did I scare you when I said the world's a dangerous place?
No.
This picture, this is a scary picture. I mean, it's very well done, but it's scary.
I can't get out of my mind.
I've had things like that. Do you know what an earworm is?
No, but it sounds ooey.
It's when a song gets in your head and you can't get rid of it.
Like happy birthday when it won't go away.
Exactly. And you had a nightmare that the president got shot in his car, and that keeps bouncing around in your head.
I didn't plan to draw it. I was drawing and it came out.
Remember when you were watching a horror movie? You were afraid to turn the TV off?
Thought the monsters would get angry at me, jump off the screen, and chase after me.
You have a very active imagination.
There are no monsters, only in your mind.
If they're in my mind, that means they're there.
Now.
Honey, you're a little girl who can draw like Michelangelo.
I can't draw like Michelangelo.
She's right. More like Leonardo.
I just want to make sure you understand there's the dream world and the real world, and nothing crosses over.
What if it happens?
Honey, nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing in your dreams can ever hurt you or anybody.
I know the difference between a dream and now.
Of course you do.
I do.
You know, when I was a little girl, one day I woke up and couldn't find money on my night table. I was positive that I left some money there, but I couldn't find a penny. I thought, did my brother sneak in and steal it while I was sleeping? Did I put it somewhere else and forget about it? I tell you, I asked my brother and he swore he didn't take a thing. I turned my room upside down. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Well, to this day, I'm not sure what happened, but I think I dreamed that money was there.
Mommy's just telling you not to be afraid.
Okay.
Then it happened.
Amy Brenner?
I'm sorry, I don't think I know you.
Right. I'm a reporter with the Morning News.
Why are you talking with me?
You don't know?
Not really.
President Kennedy.
You want to know how I feel?
Well,
Sad just like everybody.
somebody told us you had a dream.
Everybody has dreams.
Yeah, but you had a really scary one, and then it came true.
I dreamed about someone shooting the president.
That must have been scary.
I had a nightmare.
Your nightmare came true.
I have to get home.
Would it be all right if I talked with your parents for a minute or two?
About
Well, about the president, the dream. It's just a wild story.
everyone keeps calling him the president.
Well, they do.
He's not the president anymore.
How about I talk a little bit with Mom and Dad?
Some other time.
Please.
Why?
My editor's interested in this story.
It's not a story.
What happened is a historic event. Anything that in any way touches on that,
You know where I live?
I do.
It's a free country. You can talk with anyone you want.
The president flew from Fort Worth to Love Field in Dallas as part of his Texas tour. A crowd gathered at the airport while white police cars circled the airfield. Police in black uniforms stood on rooftops while people watched, with Confederate flags, Lone Star State flags. The president and the first lady arrived in Air Force One, a 707 with the presidential White House seal.
The door swung open. Jackie Kennedy came down the stairs, dressed in pink, holding a handbag in her left hand. President Kennedy followed. Now, usually the president goes first, but the Kennedys did things their own way. They had their own protocol. Kennedy protocol.
The first lady exited wearing a pillbox hat. The television president followed. They went up to a fence to shake hands. Secret Service men in sunglasses stood nearby. Then they headed back to their limo. Governor Connolly got into his own car wearing his cowboy hat, and they all drove off. The Dallas Morning News, where I work, wrote a piece about how the motorcade will move slowly so that crowds can get a good view of President Kennedy and his wife.
They drove slowly, life in slow motion. Motorcycles with flashing red lights led the procession past red, white, and blue, bunting hanging all over Main Street. It was like a victory tour. There were flags on the front of the car. People held up signs saying, "Howdy!" An American flag on the front of the first car of the presidential motorcade blew in the wind.
This is a friendly crowd in downtown Dallas as the president and the first lady passed by, a TV reporter said. And it was a friendly crowd on the ground.
Secret Service officers stood on the car behind the president as his vehicle approached Dealey Plaza. They wanted to make sure people could see their president.
The president's black Lincoln convertible made a turn up Elm Street to avoid a concrete barricade that made going straight difficult, if not impossible. Then came the gunshots, and our very American national nightmare began. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You'll excuse the fact that I'm out of breath. But But a couple minutes ago, a tragic thing happened in Dallas. President Kennedy and John Connally have been cut down by bullets while riding in Dallas. They were both transported to Parkland Memorial Hospital. Both of them were still alive when I left the hospital.
When you called and said, turn on your TV,
I thought maybe he'd pull through.
how?
I know.
He's so young and full of life. How do you find out?
I was driving in my car. The news came in over the radio. The president was shot. I pulled over to the side of the road. I went to the closest store. I asked if I could borrow their phone.
Hi.
Honey,
You know.
They closed school.
my baby,
All the teachers were crying.
how'd you find out?
A boy named Bobby Carter came running back from the bathroom. He was carrying a radio. Mrs. Clementine started shouting at him, "You know you're not supposed to have a radio in school." He shouted, "President Kennedy got shot."
Oh, God.
Mrs. Clementine took the radio away and then told us all to be quiet. He sat there while she listened to the radio at her desk. We couldn't hear anything, but you could see Miss Clementine's face. She just sat at her desk listening to the radio. Then she left the class. She took the radio with her and she went to the principal's office. She came back crying. One of the other students asked, "Is the president all right?" He didn't answer. I was already thinking, it happened. A few minutes later, we heard the principal's voice over the loudspeaker. President Kennedy has been shot and died.
And they just closed school?
The principal said that school was over for the day and he sent us all home. I really thought maybe this is some kind of crazy dream. Then I got home and saw Dad's car in the driveway.
I can't process this.
No one can.
So sad.
So is everyone.
Why would someone shoot the president?
Who knows?
It really happened.
It isn't your fault, honey. You just had a nightmare.
Now it's real.
We all have dreams.
I'm sorry, I feel sick.
Strange.
What?
Some of the details of her dream,
That he was in a car?
like she predicted.
She isn't psychic.
No one's psychic.
Come on, it's a coincidence.
Why do you think she dreamed the president got shot?
You're always telling her how your job is dangerous. Maybe the president is the father of the country, so in her dreams, she's afraid something could happen to you.
Okay, Doc.
Every day, millions of women dream of JFK.
You?
Now is not the time to be jealous.
You want me to talk with her?
Honey? Honey,
What?
you seem upset.
Everybody's upset.
Your father wants to talk to you.
We both do.
You know your dream has nothing to do with it.
Ma,
You know you aren't responsible.
if I'm not, then why are you telling me?
There was nothing any of us could have done.
How do you know?
I know.
I'm afraid.
Honey, something horrible happened, but there's no reason to be afraid.
I know.
You're still thinking about your nightmare?
Did something happen that gave you a nightmare?
Not really.
Not really?
There's a kid at school, Henry Brierly. He lit a kid's hair on fire.
No.
I saw it, and another kid put it out.
How could someone do something like that?
Some people are like that.
That bothered you?
That bother you?
It was upsetting. Then I saw pictures in the newspaper of the president in his car.
Been touring the country. Oh, such a shame.
I keep seeing it over and over again.
You have any homework?
Okay,
I hate homework.
hang on. We had a problem. Joe kind of appeared in the video. So go back a couple of lines. Sorry, I apologize. So just go back. He got knocked out and came back, and then the video was on. So if everyone comes back, try to come in with the video off. So let's. Oh, sorry, I'm recording this, which we don't need. But okay, so let's go back a couple of lines and just start again. So, just a couple lines back. Sorry.
Like,
I got it. Okay.
Just
that,
really like 4 lines back or something.
that bothered you, I'll say it.
Okay, ready? Go.
That bothered you?
Did that bother you?
it was upsetting. And then I saw pictures in the newspaper of the president in his car.
He's been touring the country. Ugh, such a shame.
Keep seeing it over and over again.
Do you have any homework?
I hate homework.
I heard people gathered at the hospital. 2 priests went in.
Mm.
They saw the president covered with a sheet. They removed the sheet, administered the last sacraments. Jackie was there. They came out and told the world, the president of the United States is dead.
It's like this bolt out of the blue.
Everyone's glued to their radio or their TV. I heard a guy say, I'd like to speak here for the city of Dallas. We are ashamed. We are stunned.
It happened here.
I'm a huge fan.
A lot of people are.
You know, in one of the debates against Nixon, Kennedy said, if we fail, then freedom fails. I still remember that.
I don't think anybody failed.
Yeah, except the guys who were expected to protect the president.
I'm not feeling well.
How about your kid?
What about my kid?
How does she feel? I mean, hell, like, she dreamed it before it happened.
It was just a dream. She's not a fortune teller.
She dreamed he was in a car.
She drew this
But after it happened?
Before. I told you she had a dream about a shooting in the car.
It doesn't look that different from the pictures in the news.
It's a coincidence.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
I just meant, it's pretty incredible, the kid who dreamed Kennedy's assassination.
It was just a dream.
I know it was just a dream, Jesus. I mean, nobody told her anything. I'm not saying that she knew.
Told her what?
Nothing. Jesse, you're shaking.
People have dreams all the time.
I'm just saying it's a wild coincidence.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Don't be shouting at me. I'm not the one who shot the president.
Thank God they got the guy who did.
Uh-huh.
What's his name?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
His picture's all over the paper.
Can I see?
Love life.
Murderer.
It says he killed a cop named J.D. Tippit right afterwards. He ran to hide in a movie theater. It says they arrested him there on the spot.
Horrible.
That's him.
The most hated man in America.
I think that's why he did it. Hatred.
It's a violent country. It just spills over.
Country didn't do this.
Medgar Evers got murdered in Mississippi. A few weeks ago, 4 black girls got killed at Sunday school.
I think Kennedy got killed over that?
I don't know if it was Cuba or Vietnam or no reason at all.
Wasn't no reason at all.
You think there's a reason for things like this? There's a crazy man with a gun. That's all it is.
Stop!
We're just discussing.
Stop shouting!
We weren't shouting, were we?
He's a monster.
God, they arrested him.
Do I have to go to school tomorrow?
Honey, you'll be all right.
Daddy, do you have to go to work?
Your father's going to be fine. All of us are.
What if this is just the beginning?
The beginning of what?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know?
Imagine how she must feel.
A dream.
Drawing.
We should probably tear up the thing.
And I hope she doesn't somehow feel guilty.
She'll get over it.
Why do you say things like that?
Because she will.
No, she will. That's not the point.
You want me to go talk with her?
Maybe we should give her a little space.
Who's this?
A reporter.
A reporter?
Hi, Dallas Morning News.
We don't really get the paper.
People don't really read much anymore. It's all on TV.
Why are you here?
Yes, well, I wanted to talk to you.
Why?
Word is your daughter dreamed about the shooting.
Word is?
Well, she must have talked about it with some kids or a kid, and they told their parents.
And
Uh-huh.
they call
Someone talked about it to one of the reporters, and they assigned me a feature.
Our daughter had a nightmare.
Right.
she dreamed that someone shot the president and then it happened. People have dreams all the time.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's a big story, but it's a feature. Human interest.
Human interest.
No, the kid who dreamed Kennedy. It's not a big deal.
We're really not interested.
It is interesting, though.
You just had a dream.
Look, I talked with her for a few minutes. I wouldn't use anything without your approval, but...
The only thing she told us before was that she had a nightmare.
And after?
We respect you want to find a story. We're just asking you to respect our privacy.
The girl who dreamed the assassination. I'd look at dreams about JFK.
We understand.
Just a small piece, not bigger than a sidebar.
We don't give our permission.
I don't really need your permission. I mean, it's out there. People are talking about it.
We told you. She had a nightmare. There's nothing else to say.
Look, we're in the middle of a national nightmare.
Yes, we are.
Can you imagine how many people go to bed with nightmares now?
I'm afraid I can.
But we can include some information from docs about how to manage nightmares, how to fall asleep. That could be helpful.
She's having trouble sleeping.
I'll talk with people. Look, the article won't be about her. It'd be about how, with everything going on, there are nightmares. Nobody's sleeping. What can you do?
It won't be about Amy.
Part of a bigger piece.
We'd rather not.
We heard there's a drawing?
Amy's a wonderful artist.
Anyway, could I take a look?
It's just a crown drawing, really.
It sounds like it's pretty well done.
It's no big deal.
Let me take a picture.
No pictures of my daughter.
No, we'd
We-
like to... I'm sorry.
We'd like to preserve some degree of privacy.
Look, maybe a picture of the drawing. No need to show your daughter.
You take your own photographs.
We have photographers, but some of us snap pics too.
No pictures of Amy in the paper.
Can I please give you my card?
Of course.
The whole thing's pretty terrible, isn't it?
And you have to write about it every day?
A lot of people are losing sleep.
You?
Everybody.
Well,
There's nothing to say.
oh, come on.
I don't want us to be in the papers.
Want to go and try to talk to him before he gets in his car?
We got his card. You watched the funeral?
Son of a bitch.
They closed school.
Country's closed.
We had a reporter drop by.
Yeah?
Hmm. They wanted to talk to us about Amy's dream.
Huh.
Yeah. Some kind of puff piece.
Gotcha.
I can't figure out how they even found out.
About
The dream. They even knew about the drawing.
word spreads.
Amy probably told some of her friends who told their parents and the word got out.
It must be it.
Huh. You don't sound too convinced.
Look.
Look,
Okay. You know we're friends.
Kev.
I told Phyllis
Okay.
She has a friend who works at the Dallas Morning News.
Phyllis told the papers.
But I didn't know until after she did. I think she thought it, I don't know, would be interesting.
I'm not sure this is a good thing.
It's sort of interesting.
Yeah, but to be in the papers right now, it's a 3-ring circus.
4 now. I'm kidding.
As long as she's not on the front page.
With what's going on now,
Oswald's been shot. Oswald has been shot. I thought it was a detective. He had a hat. Lee Harold Oswald has been shot. A man who saw the shot fired said it was fired by a man wearing a black hat, a brown coat. A man everybody thought was a Secret Service agent. Oswald was moved. Nobody knows at this time where Lee Harold Oswald is. We can hear sirens outside. An ambulance is moving down into the basement. Here comes the ambulance. Oswald, be removed now. An ambulance is being pulled up in front of us. Here. Unbelievable. Lee Oswald will be taken to an ambulance. The only word so far is the shot came from a man wearing a black hat and a coat. Here comes Oswald. He is unconscious, not moving. He's in the ambulance now. They're moving him from the basement entrance. The armored truck is being moved, and now the ambulance. And the ambulance is waiting for the truck to move. He was being transferred from the city jail to the county courthouse. The ambulance is carrying Lee Harvey Oswald, who was shot moments ago.
I saw it.
You were watching TV?
I had the TV on in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry you had to see it.
They just carted him out of there.
Live by the sword.
What are we gonna do?
You just go about your life.
Have you seen the paper?
Why?
Take a look.
The girl who dreamed the assassination.
It's a separate story. It's not that big.
How in the...
She dreamed of the shooting in a car, which is what occurred, details that are difficult to explain.
She didn't dream details.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Just a girl who had a dream.
Nightmare.
What's up with the socks?
Oh, I got holy socks.
This is what happens when you wear socks around the house.
It is.
It's not a good time to... It's like a peep show for your feet.
I'll throw them away.
Now?
Look at what's going on. And you're worried about socks?
It's not a good time to be in the newspaper, period.
Well, Kev.
Kev?
Yeah, he told his wife, who apparently told someone at the paper.
No, you shouldn't have.
It never occurred to me.
Well, maybe it should.
Oh, so this is my fault?
Yeah, it's your fault.
I'm not the villain here.
Nobody called you a villain.
We both agreed to talk with him.
Because he knew, Jesse, because we didn't have any choice.
We shouldn't have talked with him, but it's no big deal.
Everybody's focusing on the fact that they killed Oswald.
They?
A man named Ruby.
Oswald's dead.
Son of a bitch probably deserves it.
Now they can't talk with him.
The Ruby guy probably thought he'd be a hero.
He just stopped anyone from asking the assassin anything.
Sad, isn't it?
What's that?
All of it.
Just do your schoolwork and don't let all of this get to you.
Honey, are you still having nightmares?
Trying not to fall asleep.
We're here. We'll take care of you.
Do I have to go to school?
School will be good for you.
I'm scared.
Of what?
I don't know.
FBI Special Agent.
Who?
FBI.
How can I help you?
You're Millie Brenner?
Yes?
I'm following up on this.
A dream.
If someone's talking about the president getting assassinated and then it happens, that's someone we want to talk
She had a nightmare.
to. I understand.
What's going on?
An FBI agent wants to talk with Amy.
We've got to follow every lead. We're fielding calls from all over.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is a lead.
So we talk with her and we move on.
She's a little girl. You really don't need to talk with her.
Well, we're talking with thousands of people.
You don't seriously think she knows anything?
Well, I think the little girl had a nightmare, but we've got to cross her off the list.
What list?
When someone calls, that generates paperwork.
Who called?
Well, there's an article about the girl who dreamed the assassination. It says it. There are the details that are difficult to explain.
That isn't accurate.
I understand she's your kid, and I don't think there's anything here, but I've got to talk with her. It's going to take, what, a few minutes?
I hope you got better tips than this.
What if someone talked with her, told her something?
Nobody talked with anyone.
I have to ask, don't I?
Ask her about Mayan civilization or math.
Nobody's suggesting that your daughter did anything.
She doesn't know anything.
Nobody thinks she does.
Do you have a daughter or a son?
2 daughters.
She used to call her grandmother Grammar.
Like grammar, as in rules for words?
We kept calling her grandmother Grammar. She's a cute, a little girl, that's all.
I need to talk with her so I can get this over with and look into some serious leads.
And what if we say no?
Well, that would look like you're concealing something.
Concealing what?
We're going to interview her one way or another.
You want to talk with her in her room?
We have to talk with her at the office. You can both come along.
We can be with her during the interview?
That's generally frowned upon.
But interrogating little kids is not.
We all want to get this over with so you can all go about your business and I can do something productive.
Why not do something productive now?
Do you think anything's here? Neither do I.
Then why are you doing this?
What if she heard someone say something, told her something, and that gave her a nightmare?
Nobody told her anything.
How do we know you won't scare her? She could be scarred for life.
I'm terrified.
We have one-way glass. You can watch through one-way glass, all right?
It smells like smoke in here. Have you been smoking cigarettes?
I don't smoke cigarettes.
It smells like smoke.
A lot of people come in and out of this room.
Do you know why cats climb on top of tombstones?
They like it?
They like to be looking down on things. Instinctively, they know it's safer to see the world around them and that they can see more from high up.
You know why I need to talk with you?
It's your job.
It's just a little odd that you dreamed the president got killed in the car right before it happened.
People dream all sorts of things.
Did anybody tell you anything? I mean, to set off a nightmare.
Just had a nightmare.
Why would you have a nightmare?
I don't know.
Your parents get along?
They get along, but they sleep in separate rooms.
Oh,
My father snores.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd that you live in the same city where it happened and you dreamed it happened in a car.
You think I have anything to do with it?
Did you?
No.
It's conceivable you heard something and it gave you a nightmare.
You want to hear about my other nightmares?
Are they related to the president?
I dreamt we had an earthquake that swallowed up the house. I dreamt that a plane crashed into the house.
Ouch.
And I dreamt that the president got shot and crashed into the house.
I didn't know you dreamed he crashed into the house.
It's horrible.
You didn't tell anyone that.
I just did.
But before me?
That wasn't the part of the dream that interested anybody.
Fair enough.
This is so upsetting. Can I leave?
Let's talk just a little more.
That's it?
That's all she wrote.
You guys already got the guy.
Except he's dead.
We got Oswald down cold.
Yeah, he's cold, all right.
They're talking about a commission.
No secret. We got enough to close the case either way.
Such as?
We found the weapon on the 6th floor of the building where he worked, a 6.5 millimeter 33 caliber. There was still one live round of ammunition in the rifle. He just left the rifle there.
And ran.
It's an Argentine 6-point Mauser with a scope. The guy was a Marine. He knew how to shoot. There was a bag of chicken, a few bottles of soda. He made himself pretty comfy there. We talked with people at the depository after the shooting. All the workers were there except you know who.
Oswald.
Then he shoots a cop who tries to stop him, runs off, hides in a movie theater. He was sitting in the second row from the back armed with a shotgun. An officer told him, "This is it. It's all over with now." They grabbed him. He's shouting, "I protest this police brutality." Just son of a bitch.
You don't think it was well planned?
I planned the shooting, but then he ran and there was no way he was getting away. We found his palm print on the gun.
You think he wanted to get caught?
People are talking politics. Cuba this, Bay of Pigs, whatever. I think he was an angry son of a bitch who saw this smiling young guy with a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, like he was king of America.
And he didn't like the idea of a king.
He got a job there about a month before the shooting.
Yeah, that looks suspicious.
It doesn't look like he tried to get the job. A woman he knew found out the depository was hiring. She recommended him for the job. We interrogated her. Did she place him there? It looks like he was a down and out guy who needed a job, and she knew someone there.
She could have been involved.
That's what the commission will look for.
She's a Kennedy supporter. She was in shock. She couldn't stop crying. Probably still is. They didn't have the motorcade route yet anyway. I can't imagine how she feels.
Neither can I.
I'm sorry you had to waste your time with us.
We have to run down every lead, look down every rabbit hole, talk to everyone who might know something, and that includes your dog. You got to play a lot of slots before one comes up jackpot.
You think this just came together sort of last minute?
Well, the lucky loser bought the gun in March under an alias.
So you think he planned this back in March?
We're looking into it. I hope your kid doesn't keep having nightmares.
I hope I don't.
I hope you didn't give her any more.
I know she's a kid, all this.
But she did.
Now we can cross her off.
Hun?
Trying to finish some homework.
About?
The Mayan civilization.
Ah, yes.
They want us to write an essay about what civilization is and whether the Mayans were civilized.
Are we?
It's about society, not each individual.
What's happening in the news is nuts.
Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald, yes.
Why do they say his middle name?
Maybe so you don't confuse him with anyone else with the same name.
Maybe it makes him sound dangerous.
Have you been talking to your friends about your dreams?
One or two.
Maybe it's not a good idea.
Just had to talk about it.
We're sorry you had to talk with the police.
It's all right.
At least that's over.
I mean, Jesus, an article in the papers, and then the cops?
I understand everybody's scared.
Over a dream. I mean, come on.
It's over now.
Is it?
Did they say they wanted to talk to you again?
You told the truth. There's nothing else to tell.
Yeah.
Honey, you just had a nightmare.
Did I do something wrong?
Why would you think you did anything wrong?
I lied to the police.
About?
What if I knew about it before it happened?
Honey, you didn't know anything.
How do you know?
Because you had a crazy dream. We all have crazy dreams.
I'm trying to talk with you.
You're upset.
Why don't you ever listen to what I say?
Because you're a child, all right?
We listen.
Look, honey, you dreamed a dream, and that's all.
No, it's not.
Stop.
I met him.
Who?
The man who killed the president.
Lee Harvey Oswald?
Your dreams.
Not in my dreams.
Honey,
What if I saw him?
in the newspapers?
I was walking home from school and I heard something.
You heard what?
I don't know. It wasn't loud. There are woods on the other side of the fence.
You can't get over the fence.
There's a hole. I followed the sound. I could barely hear it.
Into the woods?
Uh-huh.
And
I saw a man in a field. He was aiming a gun at a tree, at something on a tree.
all right.
He turned. He saw me.
My God.
He pointed the gun at me. I thought he was going to shoot me.
Oh God.
I think he was just surprised. And then he smiled, and then he put the gun so it was on his leg, on his hip. He was smiling. He was very nice.
How was he very nice?
Well, he smiled at me and he asked me if I was in school. And I said, of course I'm in school, but school's over for the day.
And then?
He asked me what I was doing here, and I said I was walking home and I heard sounds. He asked me if I ever fired a gun before. I said, I'm afraid of guns. He smiled and he said something like, nothing to be afraid of. Guns can make the world a better place.
Run away?
Gave me the gun and said I could fire it, and then he showed me how to fire the gun.
You fired the gun?
Uh-huh. At the target. It hurt a little, but I fired the gun.
And then?
We went to look at the target, and it was a picture of the president in a car.
JFK?
The president.
His target was a picture of the president in a car.
From a newspaper.
What did he say?
He said he's practicing
For?
the real thing. And then he laughed.
And you said?
What real thing?
And he said?
He was just kidding, and he said that's all just a game.
What was a game?
Put different pictures on targets. He pointed the gun at me and said, now skedaddle and don't tell anyone.
And?
I ran, and then I had nightmares.
About the president being shot.
And then when they caught him, I recognized his picture in the newspaper.
Oswald?
What do I do?
You told your parents. That's the right thing.
Are you sure you're not imagining this?
I'm not imagining it.
Honey, imagination can play tricks.
I knew I shouldn't have told you.
No, you absolutely should.
If you saw all this, it's important.
If?
Well, I mean,
You mean what?
Well, you sometimes have an overactive imagination.
You think I imagined the whole thing?
you had a nightmare. You're sure this wasn't all in a nightmare?
Is this the whole story?
It isn't a story. Why does everyone keep talking about stories?
You didn't say it before, and now all of a sudden, I mean, good golly, Miss Molly, I don't know what the hell this all is.
Don't say hell.
Don't tell me how to talk.
Honey, before you said you had a nightmare, is there any chance?
Why'd you tell us it was a nightmare?
Because it gave me nightmares.
You didn't tell us anything was giving you nightmares.
Now I did.
And before?
I was afraid the man would kill us or something. I was afraid what would happen if I said anything. I didn't know if he was going to do it, if he was crazy.
Babe,
I'm telling you the truth.
I understand, but it doesn't make any sense.
Why?
If someone was about to shoot the president, why would they practice where people could hear?
It's pretty far away in the woods.
And he just let you waltz away?
He said nobody would believe me.
Honey, you didn't tell us that.
I didn't tell you every word.
You just walked away?
He said something like, you hear people talk about shooting the moon? Then he smiled and fired at the moon, which was there in the day. Got it, he said. Then he laughed again. I said, I don't think so. He walked with me to the edge of the field, and then he said, skedaddle. And then he pointed the gun at the air like he was aiming at the moon, and then he shot again.
And you skedaddled?
I went home and hid under the covers.
Why didn't you tell us?
I wanted to.
Is it possible you didn't tell us before because it didn't happen?
I know what I saw.
I mean, what if this is just another dream?
Will you just stop honeying me?
Don't shout at your mother.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
he's dead now. He can't say anything.
Nobody could go to him and ask him.
Think she's making it all up?
Possible.
Why?
For attention.
I think she might have had another nightmare. Maybe she's confused.
I'd say that's very possible.
Or maybe it really happened.
It's not. I mean, walking in on target practice?
What do we do?
Stay out of it.
I don't know.
You really want to wade into this whole mess? I mean, Jesus, this is probably some crazy nightmare. And if we put this out there, you know what's going to happen to us. And in the end, it's probably some kind of dream. Anyway, she's doing any drugs? Did anyone give her any drugs?
Did you leave any lying around?
No.
What do you think?
You think this happened?
I don't know what to think.
They already know he did it. So even if it's all true, it doesn't change anything.
He said he's a patsy.
They have proof it was him.
Should we call the cops?
I think this is dangerous.
You mean if it happened?
I mean, once you walk into this storm, let's say it's true for argument's sake.
For argument's sake.
What if they say she knew or she should have known and she didn't do anything?
You think they could blame her?
According to her, he practically told her what he was going to do. And what did she do?
This could all be part of a dream.
If people believe it, you know what we're going to have outside of our door?
Every night there are millions of dreams.
Some come true. That's all.
You know, I used to play guitar.
Used to?
I don't really play much anymore.
If you can play, you should.
I can riff.
It's a gift. If you can play guitar, you should play.
What do you do to relax?
I take a bath. Get high now and then.
Relax.
I can't.
But you having nightmares too?
You swear you didn't go to the papers?
I told my wife, I'm sorry if that's turning into a problem.
If I tell you something, it stays here?
We're best buds.
Kevin, I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Half the country is, and the other half lost it a long time ago.
Amy said it's not just a nightmare. She said she heard a shot in the woods. She followed the sound. She says she saw Oswald doing target practice.
Come on.
With a picture of the president in a car.
You think she just imagined it all?
I have no fucking idea, Wayne.
Look. You think your kid walked into the crime of the century?
You didn't walk into anything.
No?
No.
What do you call it?
I don't want to call it anything.
You brought it up.
We don't know what to do.
You haven't gone to the cops.
What if it's like some kind of nightmare and it just felt so real that she
And what if your kid walked in on Lee Harvey Oswald doing target practice?
Everybody knows he's the shooter. So what's the difference?
What's the difference?
It doesn't change anything. They know it's him.
Everybody wants information. What happened? Why? And now Oswald's dead, so he can't tell you anything. Why did he do it? What was he alone? The president is dead. Millions of people miss him. They even started a commission, and nobody knows why the fuck this happened. Why the fuck this nutcase shot the most important man in the world?
My daughter doesn't know.
She met him. Who knows what she knows?
She doesn't know anything.
Nobody knows that, not even you.
A kid.
Look, it could be worse.
What if it is?
Excuse me?
What if she knew or suspected someone was going to shoot the president and she didn't do anything?
She didn't know.
When she heard the president got assassinated, what must have gone through her head?
What you mean? Does she feel guilty?
Did she feel like she could have prevented it? Did she feel culpable?
She's a kid.
She's an intelligent kid.
She couldn't have stopped him.
What if some people say she could, huh? What if they think she told us? If they think we knew?
Look, all I know is they find out this and you don't tell them.
We concealed information.
Can she tell you where it was?
Go and take a look-see?
This is a bad idea.
You think we have a choice?
You didn't find anything?
If anyone finds out, she could talk to someone.
Think they will?
You think she didn't tell anyone? And even if she didn't, if she does,
Deal with it then.
they're already talking conspiracy.
Oh,
If we conceal information, what does that make us?
here we go.
We're doing the right thing.
For who?
I didn't think I'd be hearing back from you.
Terrible someone killed Oswald. I mean, for the investigation.
And we're talking with everyone who knew him.
Any prospects?
Sit down.
You know, the son of a bitch didn't even drive himself to work.
What do you mean?
Son of a bitch got a ride to work from a 19-year-old kid named Buell Wesley Frazier. The guy trained him and drove him to work on and off, including the day of the assassination.
My God.
The guy said Oswald put a package in the back seat and told him it was curtain rods. He supposedly said he was going to hang curtains in his oak room in his room at Oak Cliff. And I'll do that. The guy said Oswald put a package in the back seat and told him it was curtain rods. He supposedly said he was going to hang curtains in his room in Oak Cliff.
And you don't believe him?
It doesn't matter what I believe, but let's say we had our doubts. We interrogated the guy for hours. I mean, hours on end. They shouted at him and told him to confess.
And?
They handed him a written confession. They wanted him to sign, confess that he was part of the killing. Wouldn't sign.
So you let him go?
We held him in custody, gave him a lie detector.
Fast?
With flying colors. We let him go home Saturday morning.
You think he just happened to drive Oswald to work?
I think Oswald's a lying sack of shit.
Huh.
I think he actually got his jollies knowing he was hiding a rifle in the back seat.
The guy didn't think it was weird? He was bringing a package to work?
He said he believed the curtain story. Besides, he said he thinks the package was too small for a rifle, even if it was disassembled.
And you disagree?
We found some wrapping near the gun on the 6th floor of the depository. We're looking at a lot of people, a lot of things. We interrogated a lot of people, but it looks like he was a lone wolf.
Okay.
If we upset your daughter, I apologize.
That's not why we called you.
We think our daughter might have seen something.
Seen what?
Something that gave her nightmares.
She told us.
She told you what?
She told us she heard shots in the woods. She walked into the woods, out of curiosity. She saw Oswald doing target practice.
He says he was shooting at a newspaper photo of the president in a car.
She didn't tell you this until after?
I think
Terrified.
yeah. She didn't know if he was going to do it, and when he did,
She recognized the man.
You don't think she's hallucinating, that she had a dream and...
We don't know.
she's been a pretty reliable kid.
I understand.
Look, I want you to understand we're Amy's parents. It's our job to protect her.
I understand.
I mean, what if she's imagining things? You know, what if she had a dream and it feels so real that just
We can look into it.
Please don't shout it out to the papers when we really have no, well,
We can investigate.
you can see if there's evidence either way.
Absolutely.
If there's nothing, it's a nightmare.
Right.
we really don't want this in the newspapers or in a commission, especially if there's nothing there.
We need to see if it's all just a nightmare.
He's a child.
You did the right thing by reaching out.
The way you say that, it worries me.
Look, we're running down 1 million leads. You wouldn't believe the crackpot calls.
And where does this fit?
Right now, no idea.
We know she had a nightmare, and then she told us this.
We'll talk with her. Give her a lie detector.
Will that help?
Well, she hasn't shown any signs of, I don't know. She hasn't invented things before.
Not really. Not like this.
We went with her to the place to see if we could find anything.
And
We didn't find anything.
we'll do a grid search.
I'm not sure I know what that is.
So you divide an area into tiny quadrants and you look at each one. You go over an area with a fine-tooth comb.
You want us to take you there?
How about we talk to the little lady first? Was it just a dream?
No,
Tell me what happened.
I met him.
Who?
Oswald,
Who's that?
the man who killed the president.
In your dream?
Not in my dreams.
Where?
I was walking home from school and I heard something.
You heard what?
A gun. I mean, it sounded like a gun.
You thought it was a gun.
I followed the sound. I could barely hear it.
Into the woods?
I saw a man in the field. He was aiming at a tree, at something on a tree.
I mean, what?
A rifle, a gun. He let me fire it
You fired the gun.
at the target.
What target?
We went to look at the target and it was a picture of the president in a car.
What kind of picture?
A newspaper article?
So you could identify it if we showed it to you?
Yes.
Are you sure you're not imagining?
Please believe me, please.
Imagination can play tricks.
There's no trick.
Did you tell anyone?
Yes.
Who?
Who
Who did you tell?
the FBI.
You mean you're telling me?
I called the FBI.
You reported this
Yes, sir.
at the time.
Yes, sir.
When
A few days after it happened,
it happened.
I met Oswald
And that was
3 weeks ago.
before.
Before.
You talked with someone
I called from a payphone. I didn't give my name.
and you said,
I saw a man practicing at a picture of the president. I sent 2 pictures. I drew a picture of the picture on the tree and of the man who was there.
Oswald.
Mm-hmm.
And you're only telling me now.
I wasn't going to say anything. Then I said a little, and now I think I'd better tell you everything. Besides, you should already know about this.
We should. I mean, if it happened.
I really have no reason to lie.
You have to understand every time we talk, there's something new.
This is it. Just check the records. I think I called on October 17th, sometime around then.
We'll look into it.
What?
I didn't say anything.
These are pretty much the drawings I gave them.
Oswald on the poster?
You sure can draw.
You were afraid if I saw this and didn't tell anyone.
It was.
Well, I did, but I didn't want them to know who I was.
You didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right.
Why are you so upset?
Because a president got assassinated and the assassin got shot and there's a commission. We don't want you to have anything to do with. You're a child.
I just saw him doing target practice.
Could have hurt you.
Honey, you don't want to be a part of. We don't want to be a part of.
What if we can help? Aren't you always saying if we can help?
We can't help. The president is in a box and.
Everybody's upset.
You are too.
We're happy the man didn't hurt you.
There isn't anything else we should know.
I didn't want to be involved. I didn't even know if it was real.
You believe her?
Don't you?
I don't know what to think anymore, Millie. She just said she wasn't sure if it was real.
Isn't crazy.
She definitely believes it.
Story hasn't changed.
Are you kidding?
Once she tells us something, it's consistent.
This went from a nightmare to shaking hands with Frankenstein.
Let's see what the FBI has to say.
He made it sound like he would have known about it.
Maybe they're covering it up.
Yeah, that's just what we need, another conspiracy theory.
If she told them, tell me why they would want to acknowledge it.
If there's a record.
And how does it make them look? Do you think they followed up?
What do you want them to do? They get a crayon picture in the mail? Come on.
What do you want her to do?
Let's see if we can even find a picture from the papers that looks like the one she drew, yeah?
There has to be something that confirms what she's telling us.
We can go back to the woods and look again.
This happened. I trust my daughter.
Honey, she's an artist. She's got a great imagination.
No way, she invented all of this.
Think about it. If she did, all that means is she dreamed. She met someone and maybe afterward, maybe she modified what she remembers. Or you want her involved in the assassination of a president?
She's not involved.
If she saw target practice, she's involved. She's involved even as a witness in the shooting of the president.
Or maybe it's just a nightmare.
It's better if this is just imagination, all right? It's better for her, it's better for us, because then it's over and we can go back to our lives. But if she saw, I don't even want to think about it.
Let's focus on Amy.
If we had evidence.
What if she has information that's important?
Let's see what the FBI can find. Yeah?
Nothing.
Whoa, wait a minute.
They say they have no record.
See?
Excuse me?
My wife said, if she did reach out to you, if she gave you a sort of tip, why would the FBI acknowledge it?
I can only tell you what I'm getting back, and I'm getting back that there was no complaint filed.
What are you suggesting?
You think she's just inventing all of this?
First, I believe that she believes everything she says. Second, we haven't been able to find anything to substantiate this. Not a bullet casing, a shell, a sheet of paper. We took dogs back there to search for Oswald's scent.
Nothing?
You know, she passed the lie detector, so we're left with the fact that she definitely is convinced that this is what happened.
What if that's because it did?
Look, I'd like this to be true.
But you think it's a figment of her imagination?
It really isn't about what I think or what anyone thinks. We just can't substantiate anything. She says she touched the rifle. There's no handprint.
It was weeks before.
If you were about to shoot the leader of the free world and a little girl walked in while you were getting ready, would you just let her wander off?
She says he told her to keep quiet, and if she said anything, nobody would believe her.
We are working hard to substantiate her story. We don't want to disprove it. We're trying to prove it, and we can't.
What if he cleaned? What if we removed any traces of his presence?
That's possible, isn't it?
It's possible.
She's been a very stable girl.
Yeah.
We'd like her to talk with the psychiatrist.
No.
Psychiatrist doesn't have an agenda.
He works for you?
We pay him, yes, but he's not an FBI employee. He's a child psychologist.
He doesn't need a psychologist.
How do you know?
Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
Jesse, she's your daughter.
Yours too.
What's that supposed to mean?
She's under a lot of pressure. She was upset about things happening all over the country.
Oh?
So maybe a psychiatrist wouldn't be such a bad idea.
He's one of the best. She talks with him once, you get back a report, you can do what you want with.
And you?
And wait,
What do you do with the report?
oh, nothing. It's just information.
That's all.
That's all.
What do you do with the information?
We all just want to know what's real.
I told him I was telling the truth.
And he said,
He said, you said what you believe to be the truth.
Honey, we don't have any proof.
What kind of proof do I have to give to them?
We keep going back looking for anything.
You think I'm inventing it?
People invent all sorts of things.
You don't believe me?
You're a creative person, an imaginative person, and you have told a little lie now and then.
Really?
Remember, you broke the vase in the living room, the one we got for our wedding.
Dad.
You said it wasn't you. You were very convincing. It must have fallen on its own.
we want to believe you.
Give me that report.
We're going to hold on to it.
Doesn't mean anything.
Lies! Lies!
Will you calm down?
Why is everyone acting like I'm on trial? I just told them what I saw.
This is a very sensitive topic. And when someone says, well, they saw an assassin just days before.
I didn't want to see him.
You told us it was a nightmare in the beginning.
We believe you then, that's all.
Why would I make all this up?
It's possible for attention.
Makes them look bad, doesn't it? Little kid almost stopped the president from being assassinated, but nobody listened then and nobody's listening now. They really don't believe anything I say.
I'm afraid not.
Do you?
Honey, we don't know.
Honey, I believe you. But maybe we're better off if we try to forget about it.
I keep having nightmares.
You know we're here. We'll keep you safe.
Nobody kept the president safe, did they?
It sounds like you tried.
I want to cry.
Should this one be at your place?
2.
The doc would like to see her again.
Why?
To evaluate her in light of...
Evaluate what?
We think there's a good chance she's telling the truth.
We believe there's a good chance that even if she did send something, you deny it so you don't look bad.
So she's telling the truth and everybody else is lying.
Possible?
Let's say she did send something. What makes you think we even got it?
She's detail-oriented. She'd get the address right.
You know who Anne Frank is?
So?
I heard about a girl who was convinced that she is Anne Frank. In her mind, that's who she is.
We just don't see anything in our daughter's past to indicate she'd make this up.
The story's been evolving, growing more elaborate.
Because she was terrified of telling anyone.
Or because it didn't happen. Our psychiatrist believes she may be suffering from schizophrenia.
My daughter is normal.
She's very normal in so many ways, but she may have difficulty separating fantasy from reality.
I wish she'd never told anybody any of this.
We'd like her to undergo some additional tests.
No.
We can have an independent doctor perform the tests.
There's nothing to test.
I understand you want to believe your daughter.
You know, you won't believe us. Maybe the media will.
Excuse me?
Maybe we should go to the newspapers, TV.
And tell them what?
My daughter says she saw Lee Harvey Oswald doing target practice. She went to the authorities and they did nothing.
And what happens when authorities say this is all a figment of her imagination?
It'll be up to the media to decide who to believe.
You realize you'll be subjecting her to extreme scrutiny. And for what?
Let the people decide who they believe. Amy or the CIA? I'm sorry, the FBI.
Your daughter told you she had a dream, and we believe that's true.
We're done.
You don't want to come after us. Trust me, that's not something you want to do.
Is that a threat?
It's a promise that we'll tell the truth, and if you put all of this out there, we'll show that all you have is a little girl with an overactive imagination.
I think we should go to the papers.
And tell them she says she saw Oswald having target practice.
There must be something that backs her story up.
Looked, we didn't find any shells. Maybe they looked and they picked them up.
There you go.
Or maybe she's a mixed up kid with a wild imagination. She lives in her head just like...
Say it.
Just like you.
Fuck you.
We weren't able to find anything.
Zero?
We looked for casings, signs the targets were used on trees, smoke stains, even pistachios, food, cans of beer.
And
We expanded the search area in case that was the wrong place.
we?
A few of us.
Nothing.
No.
They're saying my daughter's crazy.
And you don't think so?
She called the authorities. She called the FBI.
Before?
She thought it was the right thing to do. She called anonymously, and then she mailed a drawing she did of Oswald.
Who would she send it to?
The local FBI office. Do you have any sources?
Look, I can ask around.
She drew another one.
I think it happened.
I reached out to the FBI.
And?
They say she's a little girl who had a nightmare that she believes is real.
She isn't crazy.
Look, if I thought she was, you think I'd be here?
Thank you. And
Look, if this happened, it's a major story.
that's what matters to you.
Look, I want to write the story. I want it to be true, but the story has to be that she met with Oswald, not... Well, we already wrote about the girl who dreamed the assassination.
This is why she dreamed it.
Look, she watched target practice and he told her this was practice for the real thing. I know. You got to understand, it's a stretch. We got to check it out.
How would you normally do that?
You triangulate, you get independent confirmation, some kind of verification.
They want to make it look like she's Looney Tunes, so they have no responsibility.
And what if she woke up from a dream that felt so real?
She never did before.
Did she know?
You met her. Do you think Amy's nuts?
I don't think she's nuts. I'm working on an article.
Thank you.
Look, if she saw Oswald, there's a story.
If not,
I think she did.
that's what you'll write.
That's the idea.
Schizophrenic?
Please.
It's a preliminary diagnosis.
She's been fine. She does well in school.
Sometimes these things develop in adolescence. She believes what she's saying.
Because it's true.
This is a particular condition where people can't separate what's real from what's going on in their mind, the inside from the outside.
You said preliminary.
Doesn't have split personality.
Some people see or hear things that others don't see, that aren't there. They have hallucinations.
Seriously think this is a hallucination?
Some people are perfectly fine except when they have delusions.
My diagnosis is this is bullshit.
Don't shoot the messenger.
My daughter's not crazy.
Nobody's saying she's crazy.
You're the crazy ones.
We can't verify anything she says except the fact that she had a dream. She seems to think the dream is real. Look, a lot of young people fantasize. Her dreams have a heightened reality. She gets the two confused.
What if she's not the one who's confused?
Dreams can feel very real, especially when you're young and you have an imagination.
You're trying to destroy whatever she says.
You know what dream catchers are? They're willow hoops with a woven net designed to catch dreams. You decorate them with beads, feathers, hang them over a cradle or a bed to protect you against bad dreams. We all dream terrible things, that's all. And she had a horrible, horrible nightmare.
This wasn't a bad dream.
The psychiatrist would like to see her again. We could all use a doc these days.
No,
We'll talk about it.
there's nothing to talk about.
She may remember a detail, something. And I'm telling you, maybe the doc will change his opinion. Look, we're trying to verify it's possibly cleaned up after himself. We want your daughter's story to be true.
You really want to get involved in this?
We already are.
Let's say everything she says is true. She saw Oswald. She reported it anonymously. What changes?
I saw him practicing with pictures of the president.
So what?
It's important information. She was a witness to history.
Will this heal anything?
No,
Will it make anything better?
maybe not.
So what's the difference?
The difference is your daughter. The difference is she isn't imagining anything.
What if she is?
I give up.
Except you won't.
You don't believe a word I said?
No.
Should have told everything to you right after it happened.
Why didn't you?
I was afraid of him. I thought he could hurt me. He could hurt you.
But you believed him.
I had so many nightmares after that.
Honey, is there any way you had a horrible nightmare that stopped you from getting any sleep?
You got exhausted.
Because I'm a kid.
Is what because you're a kid?
I don't think I'm telling the truth because I'm a kid.
You changed what you told us, and now we are saying you sent them a kind of warning.
And they say I never did?
More or less.
What if the person working in the post office recognizes me?
You would recognize them?
We had a little conversation.
What would that prove?
I mailed something.
Is it possible they didn't get it?
Oh, bullshit.
You want to take me to the PO?
I feel bad for the president's family.
So do we.
I don't think any of us understands why he did this.
He was so calm. He had a bottle of Coke and he drank and he fired his gun.
You didn't mention the bottle of Coke.
I know, there's no bottle there.
Why would he shoot so close that someone could hear?
I think he was proud. Maybe he wanted someone to know.
In advance?
Do you have any idea if he was working with other people? Did he say anything about other people?
No.
I tell you, it'd be a lot easier if it was just a dream.
You think so?
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Yes, it is.
If I say it was just a dream, then will everybody just leave me alone?
Maybe.
It was all a dream.
Liar.
By the way, the vase in the living room, I really didn't knock it down. You just insisted, so finally I said I did.
The truth comes out.
I wish someone would believe me.
We do.
Only you?
No.
Look, I wrote the piece.
We're so excited.
Don't be.
What would you write?
It doesn't really matter.
Of course it does.
They are running it.
Why not?
Verification.
They don't believe her.
Look, we can't just do an article about a girl who says something happened.
Did one.
This is different.
You said there were details that were difficult to explain.
Yep, they said it could all be coincidence.
Do you believe her?
The editors aren't comfortable without corroboration.
Couldn't they put it out there and let readers decide?
The FBI denies that they got a report.
Of course.
Look, they say they had a psychiatrist evaluate her, and He's concluded she's unable to differentiate between fantasy and reality.
Liar.
Honey,
Why would I suddenly invent something like this?
Look, I believe you, all right? But this is a big story and they don't want to get it wrong.
Oswald was right.
About what?
He said nobody would believe me.
it was a hit job.
The assassination?
The FBI is trying to discredit our daughter.
They ignored her then, so they're trying to say she invented it now.
He knew about the assassination in a car then.
It was much more than a dream. It's not that easy to fight the FBI.
My definition of a successful repair job, after destroying a drawer while trying to repair it, I found chocolate chips I hid 2 weeks ago. Sweet success.
I'm not sure that's funny.
Just don't try to eat any of the chocolate chips.
We talked to the paper and they passed.
We'll go to another paper if you want.
Well, they tried. They're taking a pass. They think Amy made it up.
Got it.
I'm afraid, John,
Of?
if she didn't see anything, something's wrong with her. And if she did,
Yes, but
I don't know what to say.
I'm not sure that this will change your mind.
That's what she saw.
That's what she's describing.
The clip exists.
It looks like the drawing.
What does that mean?
Well, she didn't make that up.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Once it got to the press as a girl who dreamed something, that's making it more difficult to change the narrative.
I thought it was just a nightmare.
If we could find anything,
Keep looking.
my daughter isn't crazy.
Right now, the country is.
Tell him. Go ahead.
Ma'am,
Tell him.
What's going on?
there was an incident
What kind of
with
incident?
a psychiatrist.
They say Amy attacked the psychiatrist.
That's impossible.
She had to be sedated.
Come on, is this a joke?
This is no joke.
Where is Amy?
She had to be temporarily committed for her own safety.
What are you talking about?
She became violent toward the psychiatrist who was concerned she could become violent to herself. She threatened him with a letter opener.
A letter opener.
She pointed it at him like a knife. It was all she had.
I want my daughter back.
Sorry.
You have no right.
This is for her own safety.
You can't take her from us like that.
The doctor is protecting her from herself. It's very temporary.
Monster.
Are they medicating her?
I'm not sure.
Where is she?
Stop attacking me. Attacking a federal law enforcement agent is a felony.
So is kidnapping.
We're protecting her, that's all.
The only person she needs protection from is you.
You can't just grab someone.
You can't force an adult child to enter a psychiatric hospital. You can only offer incentives. You can, however, enlist the assistance of a court, therapist, or police officer to have a child committed against her will.
We didn't enlist anyone's help.
What about our rights as parents?
It won't be forever. It'll probably be very brief.
We're her parents.
They do anything to Amy.
I assure you, everybody is only acting in your daughter's best interest.
Give me my goddamn daughter back. Tell me where she is now.
I can't take you there, but you can't. I can take you there, but you can't be violent.
We didn't sign away our rights.
She became violent. This is for her own benefit.
I don't believe a word you say.
Look, she's your daughter, your flesh and blood. You want to believe her. What if I told you we've got all sorts of reports? Some people saw Oswald doing this, doing that, shopping, eating, driving. Events like this bring all sorts of people out of the woodwork.
Let her go or we're going to get a lawyer.
You really don't want to fight with the FBI.
Where? I'll fight with you if that's what it takes.
I'm standing here, so you think you're fighting me. You're fighting the United States government. Trust me, you'll run out of money before the government does.
We'll go to the media.
And tell them what? Your daughter says she saw Oswald? No, before the assassination, she said she had a nightmare, and now suddenly it's real?
It isn't suddenly.
I want my daughter back.
In due time.
Honey,
Babe,
what did they do to you?
they put her on meds.
It was true, wasn't it?
It doesn't matter now, does it?
We never should have let them touch you.
You hear me?
Worse.
Honey,
Pills.
they gave you all sorts of pills.
They did.
You didn't take them.
Why would I?
Oh, thank God.
Sons of bitches.
You didn't take a single one?
I'm stubborn.
Thank God.
You met Oswald, didn't you?
Why was it so difficult to believe?
They didn't want to.
We went back to living our lives after all.
We never talked with anyone else about Oswald.
I didn't talk about it to strangers.
We told her that we believed her.
And mostly, we did.
Every now and then, someone would mention my dream.
We left it at that.
Anything's possible in Dreamland, right?
We never really gave up looking for proof.
I went back to the field with Jesse a few times.
And one day we walked further than usual.
Holy shit.
We found a piece of newspaper on a hill, buried under the leaves, decayed, but it was there.
You could see the corner of Kennedy.
You could see the edge of a bullet hole.
Target practice.
I asked Kevin if he planted it there.
Nope.
We never went to the press. Besides, what would they do now?
The year ended on a good note. On December 26th, the Beatles released I Want to Hold Your Hand, and I saw her standing there in the US.
We figured out a lot of things.
I'm sure you did.
We think we know why Oswald got the gun in March.
Waiting for the right time all along.
The president wasn't Oswald's first rodeo.
Oh?
We interviewed his wife. She told us why he got the gun in March. It wasn't to kill Kennedy. At least we don't think so.
Why?
We think Oswald wanted to shoot one General Edwin Walker. The guy was crazy as a loon. He was a rabid anti-communist who thought Eisenhower and Truman were commies. Walker gave a speech about how we needed to liquidate the communist scourge from Cuba. 7 days later, Oswald ordered a rifle under an assumed name.
Got the rifle to kill Walker, not Kennedy.
He put Walker under surveillance, photographed Walker's home. That's who he was aiming at. The militant newspaper called Walker a fascist. We found a photo of Oswald holding his rifle in one hand and a copy of The Militant in the other.
He changed his mind and upgraded to the president.
Someone fired a gun into Walker's window. It hit the window frame and ricocheted. Some fragments hit Walker's arm. We think Oswald took a shot, hit the frame, and ran.
So he could have gotten caught.
Was it close?
Oswald's wife said he told her he went on foot to kill Walker. He fired and he ran off. She says he told her police were looking for someone in a car.
You think he got away?
We found a note he wrote to his wife in Russian, telling her what to do if he didn't come home from the Walker shoot.
My God.
We compared the ammunition from the two assassinations. The bullet fired at Walker was pretty badly damaged, but we think it matches the ones that were fired at Kennedy.
After the first attempt, he started target practice.
It's possible.
In the woods.
You have a witness.
Did you believe my daughter saw him?
Nobody hates Oswald more than we do. If he was engaged in target practice with a picture of the president, we'd want to put that out there. But we'd have to be able to prove it. If we put something out there and it turns out to be BS, that could pollute the whole evidence stream. We can't afford to get a detail wrong. It's the three-legged stool rule.
Any story you hear on a bar stool's probably not true.
Every leg of a stool has to be strong. One weak leg, and the whole stool falls.
We think she went to the FBI, so we think you have evidence.
I know what I did.
She went to your agency. What would they say now?
Nobody likes to be embarrassed. But I'm telling you what's coming back from that.
You believed her, didn't you?
You don't think I'm nuts?
We all believe what we want.
I believe her.
I know what I saw, and I know it wasn't a dream.
You never talk about it, do you?
Now and then, but who would believe me?
Row, row, row your boat
Excuse me?
gently down the stream.
Merrily, 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 merrily.
Life is but
a dream.
Is it really though?